There's a golden rule of being a racing driver, and that is don't drive into the car painted the same colours as your car. Unfortunately, the Mercedes drivers today forgot that golden rule, and coming down the start-finish straight here in Barcelona, they came together. Lewis Hamilton's car picking up some front wing damage, George Russell going on to finish the lap. But how did this situation come together? Because you shouldn't really have your two cars at the same point on the track in a qualifying run. Well, you have to wind back and take a look at Lewis Hamilton's run to start off to understand with what's really going on. Lewis Hamilton here coming out through the final sector of the lap on his build-up lap to start his qualifying run. He's just following this car in front through, and it's all fairly normal, so he's just building up, seeing traffic come up, and then at this point, George Russell, you can just see him on your screen here, has let that last car pass and then has retaken the racing line, and you'll see that in a moment. Now, when Russell retakes his position on the racing line, he comes out and it looks like he's impeding Hamilton, but in reality, he's really not impeding the English driver. At this point right here, as Russell is sitting directly in front of his teammate, Lewis Hamilton's car is doing 338 kph. George Russell's just 326, but he's providing an enormous tow to his teammate. This is a perfectly executed towing exercise to try and get a bit of performance. Mercedes weren't trying to do this, of course. It's just how it played out. And it was perfect until it wasn't. And there's contact there. Hamilton's lap is gone. His front wing has suffered some significant damage, as you can see here. And while that's going to affect Mercedes on the cost cap, it's not going to affect them too badly in the grand scheme of things, because Hamilton got through qualifying, got through and got a decent grid position. So it's going to cost them a little bit in terms of pride. But what was George Russell doing in all of this? Because actually, as Will Buxton, I think, noted earlier on, this accident started a long way back. George Russell was getting out of the way of a lot of cars coming up who were faster than him, letting them pass. There was a lot of team radio communication at this point of the lap. So he was asking about what the AlphaTauri's doing. He was asking about other cars coming up very fast behind him, staying out of the way of the Red Bull there, then being told there was another fast car about to overtake him here, and you'll see it momentarily coming up on the left-hand side. I think it's one of the Ferraris about to come past Russell. There it is. And then he's told he's clear to start his lap. Gets on the line, goes off to start his lap, sets off, not realising at this point, because the team hadn't told him, that directly behind the number 63 Mercedes was the number 44 Mercedes. He's coming along at this point of the lap. You think there's nothing happened right now, because George Russell at this point, coming down the straight, was looking at the Ferrari. His eyes were looking over there towards the Ferrari. He was checking his mirrors here. What he wasn't doing was looking over to this side of the cockpit, looking in this mirror and seeing storming up the inside at 338 kph, there is the front wing. That watch manufacturer's branding there. There is the front wing of his teammate, Lewis Hamilton, trying to get past his teammate, thinking he's giving him a great big tow, and they come together. The reason Russell moves to the left, as you could see there, was quite simply that he was trying to go around the Ferrari. He wasn't driving into his teammate. He had no idea Lewis Hamilton was there. The team hadn't told him. It's the same story a little bit as we saw with Pierre Gasly earlier on. He was just looking off to the Ferrari. Ran his teammate off the road inadvertently, and I think the conversation later on will be fairly simple.
George, that looked like a pretty hairy moment between you and Lewis. Were you aware of what was meant to be happening, and were you part of a plan?
I hope that wasn't part of the plan, because not a good plan if it is, but no, I think it's just big miscommunication. A lot of traffic on the out lap. I was just looking ahead, trying to take the slipstream from Carlos, and next thing Lewis was there, so yeah, fortunate, nothing big happened, but just a bit disappointed to be out in Q2. Really struggling with the car the whole session. Wasn't feeling the same as it did in qualifying, in practice, sorry. And yeah, that was kind of the maximum where I could get out of it. So not ideal, but a long ways to find.
Were you trying to set up a tow or anything like that? It wasn't a choreography moment from the team?
No, not between the two of us. I think there was cars on fast laps behind us. I had to let Sainz pass at turn 13. You can't really see that far in the distance, and maybe Lewis was starting his lap. I don't even know if he was starting his lap or finishing his lap, but obviously not ideal for the both of us. but that didn't really contribute towards the lack of pace.
What do you put the difference of performance down to between FP3, where you were P6, and obviously qualifying?
Fine details. In FP3, I wasn't struggling with the car bouncing in the corners, could take the corners flat out, and then suddenly in qualifying, tried taking turn 3, turn 9 flat, and the car's bouncing all over the place. Small differences make a huge, or small changes make a huge effect. With all the cars out there, tyres weren't in a good window. It kind of all just went wrong. So
that bodes badly for tomorrow then?
no, not really. Completely different story tomorrow. I think it'll be a bit warmer. You'll be going slower through the corners because of the high fuel, so you shouldn't be bouncing as much. I hope we can come through. We should be able to come through, but from P12, it's not the place you want to be.
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm just going to watch the end of Q3.
A bit of hope then for Mercedes, and as George said to me after FP2, they tend to get better throughout the weekend, rarely showing their true pace indeed until Sunday. Well, Lewis Hamilton, as we say, P5, Toto saying they could have had more today. Let's hear what Lewis Hamilton has to say, who's in the pen.
Hi Lewis. Yesterday you mentioned that 10th, getting into Q3 could be a bit difficult. Today you did that.
Yeah.
But I get the feeling that 5th might not be what you wanted and you could have gone further up. How do you feel? How do some of your emotions after that?
Yeah, it was interesting because actually during the session I was thinking, damn, I said yesterday I'm not going to get through to Q3 or into top 10, and I was basically eating all my words, but it was a really, really great session and massively encouraging for us to be so competitive, and I couldn't believe that I was fighting for the top 3 at one stage, and of course my last lap wasn't the dream lap. I was second basically all the way till turn 10, and I had a snap and lost 2/10. So on one side gutted, and another side I'm really grateful just to be up there and be up in the fight and have that pace. So the team did a great job to improve the car, and yeah, we just got to push hard tomorrow for a better result.
Yeah, as you said, push hard tomorrow for a better result. Do you have your eye on the podium? What is the goal for tomorrow?
My goal is to win somehow, so that's what I'm going to try. I'm going to drive the wheels off the car and try and get up as high as I can.